search your feelings, you know it to be true.
So the reason we're doing all of this work on the beloved Kadikart is in a previous video. You may have seen my buddy jump this cart, and I'm gonna roll the slow-mo. Now you can see in the slow motion that actually the steering column bent, as well as the whole frame. The whole frame kind of bananaed for a second, but it straightened out because it's strong. But the steering column, you can see it bent a fair bit whenever he hit the ground. It kind of came back, but what happened was I've got these braces. You can see what I did here. There's a tube that comes up from the front that holds this big block. This tube here is the bearing mount for the steering column. So we've got this tube coming forward and then two extra supports. Try to get a little bit of triangle structure, whatever you want to call it. The driver's left side snapped completely off of the bearing housing, and the others were kind of weakened. So I decided, well, you know what, I've been kind of wanting to put the steering wheel back on, and then I put the steering wheel on. It was a terrible angle because it was the angle of the steering column was for the handlebars. So I put the wheel back on. I took a ratchet strap, hooked it to the top, and wrapped it around the back of the frame here to pull it down to a more easy to use angle. Before it was like driving a bus. So fixed that up, re-welded it, welded it back extra strong, and oh boy, one of my tires is losing air. Great. No! Yeah, so that was it there. The only thing I want to do left is fix that tire that's hissing, and I want to redo my front end a little bit. This is the extent of my steering angle, and it is very bad to say the least. So what it is the steering is getting bound up on itself. So I'm just gonna take it apart, cut some stuff, and see what we can do to improve the steering angle. So what I want to do here is, this is obviously the control arm for the Kadikart, right side. And so, shock tabs, frame mount here. What happened is, and I didn't even really pay attention to this, is the way this is mounted in the go-kart, it actually angles forward a tad. So if I kind of put it against the cart, it angles forward, and what happens is this face limits the spindle's travel. Let me get the spindle. You can see with the spindle in here, if this is angled forward, the spindle hits the back of that plate there. So what I want to do is, I don't want to change the mount on the go-kart itself right there, because it's very nicely integrated with the frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the angle the way it is, and I'm going to come in probably about here with the angle grinder. I'm going to cut in a ways. I'm going to try to bend this whole piece back. And the reason we want more steering angle is because this does a little bit more off-road racing, well, not official racing, but passionate off-road driving, and there's a level of drifting involved with that, and to successfully drift you need more steering angle so that you can catch the back end when it goes around, because right now if you start drifting too much, you don't have enough steering angle to catch it and you just go around. So I'm gonna try to cut this. I get nervous every time I do steering because, well, this is in no way precision, but ideally the left has to be the same as the right, and that's really hard to do whenever you're using your eye chrometers. So let's see how it goes.